video on projects that I have forgotten about and I've got on the go and all that kind of stuff. So I make lots of stuff and sometimes it just gets pushed to the back of the cupboard and I forget about it. Sometimes I forget about it on purpose because I want to kind of see how something ages. And sometimes they're at the back of the cupboard because I forget. So we have lots of projects on the go. I've got even more than this. And they're not really projects on the go, they're kind of projects that kind of came to an end as well. But it's just kind of interesting just to revisit them from my own point of view, my own interest. So, I had an oak barrel which I filled with malt vinegar, just to kind of age the malt vinegar a little bit in an oak barrel. And also kind of because I've noticed that if we have the top off some malt vinegar, it tends to lower the acidity and you kind of pick up more kind of fruity flavours in it. So essentially what it's doing is it's turning from an acid back into a water, which is what happens. So you take something like apple juice and you ferment it, it turns into alcohol, then it turns into apple cider vinegar, and then if you leave it open to the air, it then kind of turns back into water. So same kind of principle with malt vinegar. So it's now, oh god, it will be 8 months, probably longer, probably coming up to a year that it's been in this barrel. I'm not going to show you the barrel because it's messy in the other part of the house. It's evaporated quite a bit. So what does it taste like after almost a year? It's still really acid, but it's taken on the flavour of the oak barrel, which is interesting. Yeah, so almost got like a bit of a whiskey flavour to it, which is interesting, isn't it? There's that, I forget the name of the film, but it's got James Cagney in it, and it's got, not Henry Fonda, Jimmy Stewart in it, and they're on a ship, and for some reason they want to make some whiskey, and they want some whiskey, and they haven't got any, so they make some out of alcohol, and then colour it with Coca-Cola, and put some iodine in and some hair tonic to make like a fake whiskey type of thing. And that's kind of quite interesting. You kind of go, well, is only the flavour in the alcohol, in the whiskey, just from the charring of the barrel, is that kind of it? Is that the whiskey flavour? I would say yes. So that's kind of quite interesting after 12 months. What next? So this was some juice from some frozen berries, which I turned into a syrup, and I once did it, and the syrup turned into like a jelly. So I was kind of quite curious if the syrup over time will turn that I've added sugar to make it into a syrup, will it actually turn into a grape jelly jam type of thing? I don't think so, but it did once, and I don't really know why. It's probably because the fruit that I got the juice from had quite a lot of pectin in it. But it's time to open this. Is this still a syrup? Yes, it's still a syrup. Oh no, it's got a little bit of jelly consistency to it. So there's probably that's probably just down to a small amount of pectin in it, but it's got a little bit of a jelly consistency, but more still of a syrup. Got a little bit of jam flavour to it. But okay, that didn't work. But not to worry, that will get used up in something else. This is the fermented vegetable sauce. So I took a lot of old vegetables and fermented them, and then once it had stopped fermenting, I pureed it and then squeezed all the juice out of the vegetable matter, and then tasted the juice, and it was rather kind of quite delicious. Then I took some of the juice and reduced it to concentrate the flavour. This is the fermented juice, so it's become clearer. You can see my finger moving up and down. it's become clearer. There is debris at the bottom, so slowly over the last probably 8 months it's clarified up. So that was the pure juice, and this was the one that I reduced. So let's give these a taste. Got to be careful when we take the lids off things if it's not carried on fermenting. So no, there's not. Might need to change that lid if there's a little bit of damage in there. So this is, now let's do the unreduced one. It smells like Worcestershire sauce type of vibe to it. So how does this taste? That's lovely, is that? That's lovely. It was a mixture of all different types of vegetables, so there's no kind of recipe for that one, but it's certainly interesting. But give it lots of things, some things a bit of age, improves flavour. Now this is the reduced one, so I just put it in a pan and boiled it up to kind of concentrate the flavour. It's nice and salty, that. That's nice and salty. That's nice as well. Both those are rather quite nice. I don't know what I'll ever use those for, but interesting. I'll say, get rid of the spoon. This is Hawthorn gin. So I collected hawthorn berries. I suppose it's nearly come to hawthorn season, and then steeped them in gin. And this is the results. This will be 2, maybe 3 years old now. It's been at the back of the cupboard. I have had a drink of it now and again. It's very nice. It's gone crystal clear, but it stains the bottle. That's good. That's good. It's like a really nice liqueur, is that. I didn't put too much sugar in. I don't like really kind of quite overly sweet things, but that's delicious, and that's even more delicious being in the cupboard for 2 years. It's settled, so there is some sediment at the bottom, so it has clarified, but you won't be able to see, but it stains the bottle, which is just how it is. Right, so this is burnt orange bitters. So I burnt a dried load of oranges, and then I burnt them in the oven, and then added alcohol and other things to make like a bitters to put in cocktails and things. So this will have been in the cupboard for a year for definite, if not more. So nice colour to it. That's nice. That's nice. I think if it were, it's probably time to strain that into a bottle, so it's still got the oranges in there. But it's matured nicely, is that? That's matured nicely. A bit of a long-term experiment, but so another spoon. So these are glassy cherries. This is what I decided why I should go through the cupboards and find things that I've been faffing with. These have started to crystallise. So the sugar, the sugar's started to crystallise and turn. Well, the syrup has crystallised. So that's kind of quite interesting. So that's happened. Alright, let's just pick a. So if that's happened with the syrup, then the cherries have started to crystallise as well. So like turning into like little crystallised sweeties, which is nice. I think at some point what we'll do is we'll use those in a cherry cake. So we'll make a rich fruit cake and then put those cherries in it, and I think that'll be really nice for that. That will be 18 months, 2 years old, something like that. So a bit grainy, but like a crystallised sweet. So those are those. I now have more things, but I didn't have enough space. So we'll move these off and we'll kind of come back to some vinegars. Right, these are some vinegar projects. So which were these? So this was just some fruit juice that we put in alcohol and some vodka, just to kind of see if we could turn it into a vinegar by lowering the alcohol content of the I think it's vodka, by putting some fruit juice in. Would that turn into vinegar? It didn't, but let's give it a taste now. I think it is this one. I shouldn't be able to tell. No, that just tastes of fruit juice now. I think all the alcohol has evaporated off. That can be thrown away. That was a failed experiment. So which was this? I definitely know what this one is. So this is the vinegar made from fermented coffee. So I fermented some coffee, and then eventually over time it started to turn into vinegar, just out of interest. Wonder if it's become more vinegary. We shall find out. Yes, that's definitely turned into vinegar as that. So that's a coffee vinegar, and certainly a lot more acidic than it was last time. So this was, I took the mother from some malt vinegar and put it in. What did I put it in? In some wine. I put it in some wine, and thinking that the malt vinegar mother would turn the wine into vinegar, and it didn't. And then I had the realization that the type of, is it bacteria, whatever it is, the thing that turns the apple cider into apple cider vinegar is not the same type of thing that would turn other things into vinegar. So it's like a different strain of the same kind of thing. And so you can't just take a mother from one type of vinegar and make another vinegar from it. That was my conclusion of that one. So that one. So what does this taste like? It probably will have turned into vinegar over time, but no, not really. It's like wheat vinegar. That can be thrown away. Get rid of that. And then what was this one? Can't remember, but we'll give it a taste. Nah, that doesn't really taste much either. So that can be thrown away. I can't remember what that one was. These two here were aged malt vinegar. So I found this in the cupboard the other day. This was the thing that started off the experiment with aging vinegar. I saved the vinegar from the vinegar pots from work, and just kind of thought, oh well, I can't serve it at work because a mother has started to form. So I just kind of thought, well, I'll save the vinegar and then we'll put it in something. It wasn't as vinegar as it used to be. But it had an interesting taste, and I kind of thought, oh, we'll use that up at some point. So this is that kind of experiment, and it's still vinegary, but it's got a much kind of fruity flavour to it. So, and as long as you put a tight lid on something, then it stops vinegars from turning back into water. Not that they were water in the first place. Now these were the two experiments of the vinegars. So I took some vinegar and just kind of thought, oh, we'll just replicate that thing that happened naturally by leaving some vinegar open to the elements. So a mother has formed on the top of the vinegar there. Now the only problem is when I tip it up, it wants to fall down to the bottom of the container, which it's done a few times already. So this is the older one. I did two experiments. So you can see the mother at the top of that. So that mother will not work to make any other type of vinegar. It will only make a malt vinegar with that mother. So these have been definitely 12 months on the windowsill. Not in the sunlight, but how does it taste? Yeah, it's lost its vinegaryness, so it's turning back into brown water as that. So that can be thrown away. There obviously will be a point when you catch the vinegar before it goes too far. So you kind of want it to still be acidic, but you kind of want those fruity flavours to kind of come through, because the fruity flavours will be there already in the vinegar, but it's the acidity of the vinegar that's masking those flavours. So your tongue can't taste those flavours. So you need to age it a little bit, reduce the acidity, so then you can pick up the fruity flavours in the vinegar. This was a slightly younger one, so this might still be vinegary. A little bit, but not as much. So I think we can throw those away. I don't think that of any kind of real use. The only other thing was, I remember seeing a video, if I can get this out, I remember seeing a video of someone eating the mother from a vinegar. So I wonder if we could, it was like somewhere in like China or somewhere like that, that they were actually creating using the mother as a protein source. So I wonder if we can scoop this out. It's a bit snot. Oh, come here, slippery sucker. So it goes a bit snotty, but they're using it as like as a protein source. So I'm kind of curious. So let's have a look at. It's interesting. I mean, essentially, it's just that's what a vinegar mother is. So you should be able to eat it. Oh, it's tough. Yeah, so it's kind of quite difficult to pull apart. Let's just taste it. Don't know what it's going to taste like. Don't think it's going to poison me. We'll find out. Mind you, you'll never see this video, will you? Because it'll be still on my phone. Yeah, it's just gelatinous. It's like a tough tripe type of thing. So if you like tripe, you'll be able to eat a vinegar mother. Anyway, so I think that's it. I don't think there's any more projects that we've got on the go. I've got another project on the go, but it's just not. I only did it yesterday, so it won't really have kind of changed. So yes, varying degrees of success and kind of updates on random videos that I made, which I kind of found quite interesting, and I find the results kind of quite interesting as well, because it's all that quest for knowledge to understand things. It's very, I suppose now we've got ChatGPT, you can ask it questions and it scours the internet for the answers, but it's very difficult to find the answers. I always find it difficult to find the answers to the questions that I want to ask answered, because I don't think there's not that many people kind of like true experts. You can be a master baker, but do you really understand about bread? You know how to make it, you know what to do to it to make a fantastic loaf of bread, but do you understand why? And the questions I ask are always a bit, probably like a ridiculous questions that I kind of think are important, because I want to know how things properly work. And lots of people they know a lot, but they're just basically going through the motions, and don't have the answers that I want for the questions that I want to ask. So, like with bread, so I've had to. There's not been one place that I could go and get all the information that I wanted about making sourdough loaves and bread and sourdough starters. I've had to piece together my knowledge of sourdough, and which is still flawed. Like I'm not some kind of perfect sourdough maker by any stretch of the imagination, but I've had to piece together different bits of information from different sources to kind of get an understanding of things. I haven't just been able to go to a master baker and say, show me how to make sourdough and explain to me why. I haven't been able to do that, because I don't think there's that many people who could actually tell you anyway. So that's that. And hopefully some of the things that I waffle on about might give the answers to people who are as curious as I am about things. Anyway, so my point of view, always very fascinating, always very interesting. From your point of view, that's a 20-minute video about nothingness. So, success for me, probably not a success for anyone else.